Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Against presidential form of government in India. Risk of dictatorship. A presidential system centralizes power in one individual unlike the parliamentary system where the prime minister is the first among equals. The surrender to the authority of one individual, as in the presidential system, is dangerous for democracy. Thus, the serious objection advanced by many constitutional experts is that the presidential system carries with it the risk of dictatorship. Against basic structure of constitution, a switchover to the presidential system is not possible under our present constitutional scheme as the parliamentary form of government is part of the basic structure doctrine propounded by the Supreme Court. Affecting pluralism, a diverse country like India cannot function without consensus building. The winner takes it all approach, which is a necessary consequence of the presidential system, is likely to lead to a situation where the views of an individual can ride roughshod over the interests of different segments. Issue of governance. If the legislature is dominated by the same party to which the president belongs, a charismatic president or a strong president may allow any move from the legislature. On the other hand, if the legislature is dominated by a party opposed to the president's party and decides to checkmate him, it could lead to a stalemate in governance because both the president and the legislature would have democratic legitimacy. Flawed argument related to outside talent. The argument against the parliamentary form of government, that it excludes outside talent, is flawed. As there are many cases of specialist people like C.D. Deshmukh, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh were brought into the parliamentary system. On the other hand, bringing outside talent in a presidential system without people being democratically elected would deter people from giving independent advice to the chief executive because they owe their appointment to him/her. Conclusion. The present parliamentary system has been tried and tested for nearly 70 years. Rather than change the system, there is a need to reform thoroughly and cleanse the electoral processes and make Indian democracy more robust. In this context, reforms ranging from limiting expenditure of political parties and deciding the ceiling on the expenditure to holding simultaneous elections are steps in the right direction. Parliamentary versus presidential form of government. Why in news? Recently, it has been suggested that India should adopt the presidential form of government instead of the parliamentary style of democracy inherited from the British. These suggestions have been given in the backdrop of frequent elections and related administrative as well as financial burden owned by India. Parliamentary system of government. There are two executives. The nominal executive is the head of state, e.g., president, while the real executive is the prime minister, who is the head of government. In such a system, the role of president or monarch is primarily ceremonial and the prime minister along with the cabinet wields effective power. Countries with such a system include Germany, Italy, Japan, United Kingdom as well as Portugal. The Constitution of India provides for a parliamentary form of government both at the centre and in the states. Articles 74 and 75 deal with the parliamentary system of government at the union level and Articles 163 and 164 contain provisions with regard to the states. Executive is responsible to the legislature for its policies and acts. Presidential system of government. There is only one executive. In this system, the president is both head of state and government, e.g. USA, South Korea, etc. The executive is not responsible to the legislature for its policies and acts and is constitutionally independent of the legislature in respect of its term of office. Key points. Arguments against the parliamentary system. Unqualified legislators. The parliamentary system has created unqualified legislators who have sought election only in order to wield executive power. It limits executive posts to those who are electable rather than to those who are able, e.g., the Prime Minister cannot appoint a cabinet of his choice, he has to cater to the wishes of the political leaders of several parties. Powerful executive, most of the laws are drafted by the executive and parliamentary input into their formulation and passage is minimal. It has been seen that the ruling party issues a whip to its members in order to ensure unimpeded passage of a bill. Since defiance of a whip itself attracts disqualification, MPs blindly vote as their party directs. Hence, the parliamentary system does not permit the existence of a legislature distinct from the executive. Fickle legislative majority, it has forced governments to concentrate less on gunning than on staying in office and obliged them to cater their coalitions. It puts insurance on defections and horse trading. The Anti-Defection Act of 1985 has failed to cure the problem, since the bargaining has shifted to getting enough MLAs to resign to topple a government, while promising them offices when they win the subsequent by-elections. Distorted voting preference. It has distorted the voting preferences of an electorate that knows which individual it wants to vote for but not necessarily which party. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe and comment for more videos.